Nigerians, the whole truth don finally come out about the alarm wey Peter Obi raise about wetin Peter Obi talk some few days ago here say he may not even be alive to contest for 2027 election. The whole truth don finally come out. This man you guys are seeing in this video don expose a lot, but na wetin come tell Tinubu for inside this video, na wetin I no go let me President Tinubu here for the sake of peace. Make una share video go where President Tinubu dey. Make una hear this man your reaction for so many questions wey dey ask am for inside this video about the happenings in this country and the updates wey dey also dey trend about wetin dey say Peter Obi talk allegedly. And make una share the video.
The survival of Nigerian democracy.
Sir, many have said that we are facing creeping totalitarianism, that the Nigerian state is creeping, walking open-eyed, not even closed, not blindfolded, walking open-eyed into civilian dictatorship. What's your response, sir?
The Nigerian people over the last 50 years have shown a determination and a skill set to contest dictatorship. What we have is rising authoritarianism. Authoritarianism means executive power is being regularly abused, and this abuse is against the rights and the interests of the Nigerian people. I think it's even at the height of military dictatorship under Abacha, for example, Nigerians prevented that system degenerating into a dictatorship. And Abacha held his 1 million march to show that his power is absolute. And ordinary Nigerians organized a 2 million man march to counter what dictator Abacha was trying to do at that time. I think we still have that attitude in this country. Nigerians are not cowed. They are not afraid of the rising authoritarianism. They are mobilizing. They are resisting. And if some of the individuals currently in jail and under harassment, like Nasiru El-Rufai and Shore, if you look at what's happening for them, it's because they are showing leadership in resisting authoritarianism. And the attitude of the government of the day is to lock them up, to shut them up, to stop them being able to do what they want. So what this shows is that, yes, the Tinubu administration is trying to establish a full dictatorship in this country, but the Nigerian people are resisting that dictatorship, are fighting it, and are really determined to show that they are not going to allow this system develop into a full dictatorship, and they will continue to fight for rights, for to run their existence as citizens of this country, and that the rights of citizens will continue to be protected because citizens will not agree to give up their rights.
Prof, I need you to comment on this before it skips my mind. Reuters, the global news medium, broke the story of the 8.8 trillion naira expenditure by the Tinubu government, that it was not properly budgeted for. It was not in any of the budgets, either 2024, 2025, or 2026. 8.8 trillion naira, representing 2.8% of our entire GDP. Of course, it was the IMF that raised it before Reuters broke the news, and then, of course, it's been everywhere. What's your response to this, sir?
Well, I wasn't surprised at all. Don't forget, when Tinubu came into power in May 2023, the first thing he did was to issue the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. And he brought a contractor from France who had not submitted a bid, who had not gone through a procurement system and offered him that contract in total disrespect to due process rules. And we do have a Procurement Act that says government cannot give such contracts without going through due process procedures. A contract was issued to this person. Now, the entire experts in this country said that the amount bears no relationship to the quantum of work that is expected from that, and that it was simply wasting public resources by giving a contract that had not been duly assessed by government to a personal friend of the president. So that's why I wasn't surprised at all to find out with this report that this situation is a much more generalized pattern in this administration, where due process is completely disregarded. I still remember the good old days when my good friend Obi Ezekwesili was head of the due process office, and was always insisting on the point that if you want to fix corruption in Nigeria, and if you want to ensure the delivery of public service, you must insist that every procurement goes through the due process mechanism. That attitude has disappeared from this government. They have shown total disregard for due process mechanism and are simply using public resources not to produce public goods, but for the personal wealth and aggrandizement of individuals. And that is a tragedy for the future development of Nigeria.
Prof, I know you spoke very strongly against the degeneration of our judicial system. But I want to be specific in this next question about the Justice Peter Lifu High Court decision to deregister 5 political parties, ADC, Accord, APM, in flagrant disobedience of an express directives of the Court of Appeal to stay action on that matter. Can you speak to this in 1 minute, Prof?
Well, I think
Sorry, sir. Maybe you also take the case of the Lokoja High Court, the Issa Dashed, who also said they should no longer register NDC after I had previously said they should register them.
Well, I think the verdict on this issue is very clear. There's a crisis over the 2027 election because the Tinubu administration is determined to prevent opposition parties that are credible from having candidates that will contest against President Tinubu. And I think that reality is a very revealing one, that President Tinubu is very conscious of the fact that he has produced so much misery for Nigerians that Nigerians cannot vote for him in 2027. With the knowledge that he will lose the 2027 election, is now recklessly using the abuse of presidential powers to stop opposition parties from contesting against him, so that he will be the only candidate and would therefore go through. That is the clear ambition of the Tinubu administration. And at every twist and turn, they use their agents in the judiciary to seek to block it. I'm glad that not everybody in the judiciary is following that script. And we still have people of honesty and character in the judiciary that are able to resist this attempt to block the opposition. If President Tinubu succeeds in blocking opposition from contesting against him, that means there's zero democracy in Nigeria. And that's the end of the system. And citizens at that point are going to come to the conclusion that imposes itself, that since there is no democracy, we can't pretend there is democracy. So it's, I think, a critical issue that will determine the political future of Nigeria. I think the judiciary needs to reflect a bit about some of its agents that are adopting this executive recklessness I've spoken about earlier in terms of their judicial decisions. They are not just threatening the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary. They are, in essence, threatening democracy, the existence of democracy in Nigeria. And my sense is that if there is one thing Nigerians are committed to, it is two issues. It's federalism, it's democracy. The moment Nigerians come to the conclusion that we have lost democracy, it means also that we have lost federalism. Because once you have one-man dictatorship, by definition, it's not a federal system. Because federalism is about multiple poles of power at various levels, and each one exercising their powers on the basis of the Constitution. So when you have a one-man dictatorship, there's no democracy, there's no there's no federalism. And in that situation, Nigerians will have to come out and fight very strongly to preserve the system they want. But my advice to Nigerians is, you don't wait till the dictator succeeds in realizing their ambition of a full dictatorship. The current struggles must be pursued with vigor and with determination. And it is the pursuit of that sense of struggle against authoritarianism and dictatorship that will create the basis for future development of Nigeria's democratic system.
One of the leading presidential candidates, Mr. Peter Obi, I mean, there has been attempts to undermine political parties, destabilize them and all of that. But Mr. Peter Obi, for the first time, came out yesterday strongly, openly, that all his businesses, whatever he does to give him legitimate earnings, are under attack, severe attack by the government. But beyond that, that he might not even be alive, because people are saying he may not be on the ballot, but that no, he may not even be alive before or by the period of election next year, that his life is under threat. Respond to this, Prof, please.
Well, this is the first time hearing of that. I haven't followed the news closely over the last couple of days, and that for me will be very frightening. I think it's extremely worrying that Peter Obi is being subjected to such high level of harassment, and that even his life might be in danger. And I think it's the point I'm making. If this government succeeds in imposing its dictatorship over the country, then it's the future of the country that's at stake. And that therefore, the danger is not just for the opposition, it's for the entire country. And I think Nigerians must be aware that if they allow a full-blown dictator to emerge in this country, we are all finished as a people and as individuals. The opposition must survive. The opposition must be allowed to compete effectively against incumbents in power. And if that does not happen, it is the entire political system that's under threat.
Prof, what is the single biggest threat? Or before I even ask you that, what are the opposition doing enough in your opinion? Are they doing enough to present a robust challenge, healthy, legal challenge to the ruling party or ruling government?
Is the opposition doing enough is always a difficult question to pose, because we know from all over the world that opposition parties tend to have a problem, because you always find a situation in which a number of opposition parties all want to be the next president. And therefore, instead of cooperating among themselves, they compete against each other, divide the opposition, and allow the incumbents to continue in power. We definitely have some of that challenges in Nigeria. There was a lot of attempts this time around to ensure the opposition rally around a single candidate. That has failed. But I think in spite of that failure, the lack of popularity of the administration is so high that it is still very possible for an opposition party candidate to win the presidential election.
Okay, Prof, as we remaining 3 months, if you don't mind, one of them, Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General, got himself involved as a co-plaintiff in this case I referenced before, Justice Peter Lifuto, director of the party. And so many have said that was unbecoming of anybody occupying that office. You know, that's the only office inserted in the Constitution. And so many have said, separate that office, Ministry of Justice and Attorney General. What's your take on his involvement and all of that? What's your take, sir?
I feel that the Attorney General of the Federation is not representing the ruling party. He is head of the judiciary, of the Ministry of Justice, and his commitment should be to the rule of law and to ensuring that the Constitution is respected. A situation where the Attorney General of the Federation starts taking partisan position is a real threat to the respect the country has for that office. And I think it's unfortunate that the Attorney General is behaving in that manner.
Prof, can INEC, under Professor Josh Amopitan, that's come under heavy criticism, some will say justifiably so, can INEC be trusted to deliver free, fair, credible elections in 2027?
Well, I'm very worried about the standing of the INEC chairman. I followed with keen interest the revelation that at some point he was an open supporter of the Tinubu presidential campaign. When that was revealed, he came out to deny it. It's not wrong for him to support Tinubu at that time because he was a private citizen. But when the revelation came, it was wrong of him to deny what he had done. There are strong arguments about his partisanship on this matter. The speed with which he supported the judicial moves to disqualify opposition parties.
Thank you for watching that video. So guys, before you leave, look at the down here. Do well to subscribe and also put on notification bell so that whenever we upload any video in this great platform, you will be the first to see it. And please don't forget to drop your comment at the comment section what you think about this video, your opinion as well. See guys, this is where I'm going to end the video, and I will see you guys some other time.